Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekend. We're so glad you're waking up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Tyler Fingert. Thanks for joining us on air or streaming on our Fox 10 News app. We'll get to those top stories in just a moment. But first, let's take you live outside to Orange Beach. Summer is still in full swing this morning. A lot of folks may be flocking to the beach to enjoy some fun in the sun today. Sadly, that may be short-lived. A tropical system is brewing this morning near Cuba, and as of now, it looks like it has its sights set on our area. There's also another one right behind it. Meteorologist Matt Barentine is tracking Fred this morning and he is here now with the 7 a.m. tropical update. Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Tyler. Yeah, we are, of course, tracking Fred here this morning. You saw that beautiful shot at the beach. Today will be a great day, a beautiful day. It'll be hot, yes, but it'll be a great day. If you want to go to the beach, go to the beach. It's going to be a good one. But we're going to have to deal with this soon enough, but not today. Winds at 35 miles per hour. It's moving to the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. Now, if you haven't seen the forecast track lately, this may look like a bit of a shock to you. Hopefully, it's not too big of a shock, though, because we were in the forecast cone the last couple of days. And we expect these things to move around within that cone. And it has. It's moved to the west. And what happened was this very week, remember it's only a tropical depression, as it's been working its way over Cuba, the center of circulation fell apart. And this happens with these tropical systems, and it reformed off to the south and west. So it was here, and then it reformed over here. That happens all the time. And when that happens, it changes the whole trajectory of the forecast, or the forecast cone. And that's why it was so wide for a couple of days, because it was anticipated that it would go through some things like this. So still a weak system. It likely won't even become a tropical storm till late tonight, maybe even tomorrow morning. That's not going to give it much time here to strengthen. So we expect it to be a moderate tropical storm as it makes landfall somewhere possibly in our area. Now remember, there's still a cone here. It goes from Panama City all the way over to about Biloxi, but we're basically in the center of that. And keep in mind, and everybody focuses on the center, but you really want to focus on the right-hand side, the east of center. That's where all the weather with the system will be, because it'll be lopsided. All the weather will be on the eastern side. The western side, even if you're a county over, may get absolutely nothing out of this, just some breezy winds. So it'll be really key on exactly where this goes in. Here's all the modeling. And you can see there's still some spread in the modeling, but essentially it goes from about Pascagoula to Panama City, with Baldwin County and Pensacola right in the middle of most of the models here at this point. Here's what it's going to have to deal with. There's wind shear. There's an upper level low here right over the eastern Gulf, and that is not good for a tropical system. Great for us, not good for Fred. So that's going to really limit its strengthening here as it moves its way towards. Now, we do expect to strengthen some, because this isn't a very strong wind shear, but it's enough to keep it from becoming a major storm or anything like that. So we'll be dealing with a tropical storm late Monday, late Monday's when we expect the landfall, but we'll get rain before that during the day on Monday. So Monday's going to be the big day. Tuesday we'll still have some of it around, and then by Wednesday it's just a memory. So the weekend's actually looking good. Today, like I said, looking just fine. Futurecast will bear that out. We're not going to see much in the way of weather during the day today, but as we get into the evening, some showers and storms are likely to bubble up. So if you have Saturday night plans, that looks like to be the time when we're going to see the most showers and storms. So during the day today should be fine. Looks pretty good. Rain chances stay pretty low until we get to the evening hours. Temperatures will be hot. Oh yeah, it'll be hot. Mid-90s out there today, so be careful. Make sure you drink plenty of fluids and stay hydrated.
Matt, thanks. Remember, you can stay on top of all the latest weather developments with our free Fox 10 News app. To download it, scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can search for Fox 10 News in your app store. And now to breaking news. One person is dead, 2 others injured after a shooting inside of a downtown Mobile bar. Take a look from video at the scene. Mobile police rushing to Saddle Up Saloon on Jackson Street around 2:15 this morning. Mobile police finding 30-year-old Andrew Sims dead inside the bar. 2 others were also injured in the shooting and drove themselves to the hospital. Their conditions are not life-threatening, we're told. And take a look at the person Mobile police have arrested in this case. They say this guy, 39-year-old Freddy Escobar Diaz, he's in Metro jail this morning, and he is charged with murder and 2 counts of second-degree assault. The mother of a 3-year-old little boy is charged with his murder. Tatyana Edwards surrendering to police and remains in Metro jail this morning. MPD says the child died from cardiac arrest August 11th, 3 days after being admitted to Children's and Women's Hospital. Hospital workers suspecting the child had been abused and called police. An autopsy revealed the boy had suffered from severe head trauma as well as other injuries, and it appeared he had been abused for some time, according to investigators. This morning, Fox 10 News is also learning the name of another Mobile murder victim. Mobile police say Ronald Cummings was shot Thursday before slamming his vehicle into a church on Union Avenue. When investigators got there, he was dead. Mobile police were not able to confirm who shot Cummings or why his vehicle hit the church. Mobile police are investigating how a woman ended up in a coma after family members say she was thrown from a pickup truck. Gabby Young remains in a coma this morning after her family says she was beaten and thrown from a truck Wednesday night. Interim Police Chief Roy Hodge held a news conference to say they don't know exactly what happened. Young was airlifted to a Pensacola hospital where she's receiving around-the-clock care for numerous injuries, including a brain bleed. Police say they do have a person of interest in this investigation, but right now they don't know if charges can be filed.
As soon as we are able to make contact with him and interview him, we should be able to fill in some of the blanks that we have in this case, some of the things that are unknown at this time.
Fox 10 News spoke to Gabby's brother. He says he understands the chief's response. He says that right now they are at the mercy of her recovering and being able to tell her side of the story. Pritchard police traveling across state lines to track down an alleged dangerous murder suspect. Investigators say Davon Bray shot and killed a man in cold blood nearly 2 weeks ago and was caught in Georgia after a police chase. Fox 10 News was in Pritchard as Bray was taken to Metro Jail.
What do you have to say?
As you heard, he didn't have anything to say. Pritchard police say 21-year-old Davon Bray gunned down 39-year-old Frederick James on August 2nd in the Heritage Home subdivision. Investigators say James was shot multiple times and left to die on Handy L. Davis Street.
Due to witnesses and other evidence, that's the reason we discovered that Mr. Bray, Davion Bray, was the suspect we was looking for.
According to Chief Walter Knight, with the help of U.S. Marshals, Bray was picked up in Helena, Georgia. Take a look at this post that was on McRae Helena Police Department's Facebook page. Investigators there say Bray led officers on a short car chase that ended when Bray wrecked out his Camaro. Police say Bray bailed out of the car but was caught a few minutes later. Chief Knight says his officers drove nearly 6 hours to Georgia to question Bray and bring him back. And they're still investigating a motive in what they're calling a senseless murder. Some Americans are rolling up their sleeves for the first FDA-approved COVID vaccine boosters. The agency has cleared both Pfizer and Moderna for those additional vaccine shots. It's for people with compromised immune systems. The first person to get the booster, an organ transplant recipient at Johns Hopkins University Hospital. The authorization comes as the new COVID surge is accelerating quickly. We're now averaging more than 114,000 cases every day in the U.S. That's up 18% from last week. The CDC now warning community transmission is increasing significantly in areas with low vaccination rates, and it's hitting children the hardest.
Where we have higher rates of infection among children is where we have lower rates of vaccination in general.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey issuing a limited state of emergency based on the recent rise in COVID cases. She says the order is an effort to support Alabama's frontline healthcare workers while cutting red tape to allow, quote, our healthcare community greater flexibility to offer care for patients coming through their doors. The governor making it clear this is not something that will result in statewide mandates or closures. She says Alabama is open for business and that the greatest defense against the virus is the COVID-19 vaccine. And this morning we are hearing from yet another Mobile hospital about the struggles they're facing. It all has to do with the rapid rise in COVID cases over the last 6 weeks and the stress it's putting on Providence Hospital. The hospital's president says they are overwhelmed, and he says that it's because people won't get vaccinated. The hospital says their staff is facing many challenges as they care for more than 100 COVID patients, 89% of which are unvaccinated. The number of COVID patients they're seeing is nearly 10 times higher than 6 weeks ago. Health leaders in Mobile and throughout the country say it is safe, effective, and proven to keep the vast majority of people who get vaccinated out of hospitals.
It's almost unbelievable where we're at, because looking back to where, again, we were in January, we have the fix for this thing. We have the ability to knock this thing out, but most people haven't taken advantage of it.
Ascension Providence Hospital has mandated vaccines for their staff. So far, about 52% are vaccinated, but staffers have till November to comply. At last check, Providence has no ICU beds, which is similar to other hospitals in our area. The hospital says the average age of COVID patients that they're treating is 59 years old, but they are treating at least 8 patients in their 20s. CVS pharmacies will start giving out a third dose of the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines to immune-compromised people starting today. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the CDC giving the green light this week for additional doses of the vaccine for certain people with compromised immune systems. The drugstore chain says people will be able to schedule vaccination appointments on CVS.com starting this morning. A spokesperson said people will be required to attest to their eligibility during the scheduling process and when they get their third dose. One of downtown Mobile's largest events of the year has been pushed back due to the increase in COVID-19 cases. Dauphin Street Beer Festival was originally set for August 28th. Now it's been moved to October 16th. What was supposed to be 15 days away is now 63. Beer Fest in downtown Mobile is usually a big draw, and now the city is deciding it's best to wait. And with the recent spike in COVID-19 cases, fortunately, some downtown Mobile restaurants are not seeing that much of an impact. Many restaurants sent out statements saying as much as people were looking forward to Beer Fest, they agree it is best to postpone for the time being.